Today, I'm going to recreate the iconic Temple of Light from Season 2 of Ninjago. I'm going to fill this temple full of intricate details, nostalgic characters, interesting play features, and I'm even going to recreate the Golden Mech. So I cannot wait for you to join me on this epic adventure, and let's get building. Back in 2013, the third wave of Ninjago LEGO sets came out. Some of these sets I really enjoyed, like Cole's Earth Driller and Kai's Fire Mech, but a few of these sets fell short, and the Temple of Light was definitely one of these sets. It's definitely an interesting build, and the Golden Mech is pretty cool, but it doesn't really resemble the one from the show. And honestly, looking through the instructions for it, it's very plain, blocky, and compared to some of the other Ninjago temples, it's pretty bad. So it's time for me to make a show-accurate version of this temple. We'll start by building the minifigures. For starters, I got Cole's, Jay's, Kai's, Zane's, and Lloyd's kimono suits, which personally are one of my top 3 favorite Ninjago suits. I love this sleek design, and once you line these kimonos up, they match each other so well. I gave each of them their original harness, but for the heads, I actually got their brand new Dragon's Rising head because these heads have more unique expressions than their old ones. Except, sorry for Zane, we're going to use his original head because technically he wasn't a titanium ninja yet. I gave them their original Season 2 ninja masks, and man, these masks hit different. Now they just need their elemental blades, but that'll come later on in the video. For the villains, we have the epic Samukai.
Guys, honestly, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep calling this guy Samukai. Samukai is the four-armed skeleton. This is General Kozu. It won't happen again. Hopefully.
With 4 arms. This minifigure is so cool on so many levels, and I love the intricate detail they put into the body. I also made another pretty generic stone warrior, other than the fact that he has a massive axe that can cut down the ninja. So it's time for the ninjas to set out on a quest to find this Temple of Light. Now in the show, the Temple of Light is built into this big mountain. And it's basically a bit of a facade outside of the mountain, and then big doors opening up into this big cave room where you have a bunch of other details that we'll get to later. I started with a rocky base. I was able to add some sand blue to the rock because building dark gray rock over and over and over and over again can get kind of tiring, so I wanted to mix things up. So I added some sand blue. I also wanted to build a function into the base. In the show, there's this random table looking thing in front of the temple, and I'm not actually sure what it is. It's just sitting there. I wanted to make it actually have a function. So when you turn this red knob, it made a cool function where the doors will actually open up eventually. I don't have it completed yet. After that, I worked on some of the back wall that is made out of rock because it is part of the mountain. And obviously, I had to use a couple of these big rock pieces because they're so helpful and nice, and they honestly look pretty good as a rock wall. Honestly, the interior of this MOC had to look at least as good as the outside. So in the show, you've got 4 big pillars, and on the floor you've got emblems for each of the ninja. And in the middle, you've got Lloyd's emblem. Above it, you have a massive bell. So let's get building. I started by building 4 pillars, and I built them dark blue with a sand blue pattern going up each one of them. Now in the show, the ninja have to stick their elemental blades into the pillar to reveal the Golden Mech. So I made these little slits. I used 2 1x4 slit pieces and put them together. That honestly almost looks like a mailbox, but it's not, and you can fit the elemental blades in there perfectly. Now I needed to make their emblems on the floor. The ninjas see a bunch of different etchings on the wall of what they've done in the past, so I think it's time for me to make some. I rushed to my computer and started working on designing these pictures. After about 2 hours of strenuous work, the keys for my keyboard were basically sticking to my fingers, but the stickers were done and they look fantastic. I purchased them, picked them up at the store, and once I got home, I cut them out, stuck them onto the pieces, and now I can place the emblems down on the floor with this nice golden rim around them. A fun fact is, I actually built the whole floor out of bricks going up and then laid it in there sideways to give it this smooth, sleek aesthetic. The first wall panel is instructions for where the ninja need to stand to get their elemental swords. The second wall panel is basically a mirror of the ninjas looking at themselves. The third wall panel is some history of Ninjago, and this is where the ninja find the Destiny's bounty. And finally, the fourth wall panel is some more history of when the Great Devourer attacked Ninjago City. After I placed those in, I also added some blue crystals to the wall where the light reflects off. And finally, on top of all these pillars, I placed a massive bell that can swing back and forth. Now Lloyd can hit it as much as he wants and make that beautiful Taco Bell sound. I also built in a little feature to this bell that you can actually slide it out. And now it can fit the Golden Mech. Now, there are two versions of the Golden Mech that have already come out. We've got the 2013 version and the 2020 version. But both of these are too big to fit this little area. And honestly, a smaller Golden Mech wouldn't be that bad. So for my Golden Mech, obviously the two main colors are gold and white. I looked at pictures of the Golden Mech from the show to get the proportions right. The legs are kind of short and squatty, and I used some of these disc pieces in light gray to detail the knee joints. On the thighs, I used these gold pieces that I think are from Hero Factory, and the feet used some chrome gold, which I really like. Moving up the body, I actually used one of those new golden slope pieces that came out in crystallized. Every joint on this mech is connected with mixel joints, and I used the newer finger pieces in gold for the hand. I also gave him a katana. Now that we have the golden disc, we can place it on this mech's head and actually fit it into the Temple of Light. And it fits in snug, and this mech honestly looks really cool, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Now, back to the Temple of Light. The last little detail was a small table that I put with a scroll. Now, enough with the interior. Now it's time to work on the facade of this build. It starts with two red pillars going up, and I actually anchored these into the ground using these giant Technic pieces. I can literally just pick it up right here. It is very strong. I rounded off the front of these pillars with these slope pieces. Now for the doors, I built in that function so they could open. I built them dark tan, added some cool red and dark red detailing to make it look fancy and ancient. Above the door, I added some golden detailing using these wispy detail pieces in gold. I got a lot of dark red bricks out and built this rectangular beam that went above the two pillars. I tiled it off with dark red tiles to make it look very sleek. And then for the second section of the pillars, they go between red and white. I actually built these in an interesting way where they just slide onto the pillar and aren't actually attached with any studs. In between these two pillars, I added 3 rice paper windows with majestic dragons on them. In the middle of this, I added a small gong using a bronze shield piece. Then I built yet another rectangular platform in dark red and placed that above these two pillars. Finally, it was time for those white pillars with red little roof tiles going up them. I built 2 of these pillars, and the final touch was a couple flags I added to the rectangular platforms. Now it's time for the ninja to unlock their elemental blades and to defeat the oncoming stone warriors. Once the ninja reaches the summit of the mountain, they see a majestic facade. This Temple of Light is mainly red with splashes of white and gold. The 3 dragons on the front windows look majestic, and the massive door can swing open by the turn of this knob. The interior reveals 4 stunning pillars, and at the bottom of them, the ninja see their emblems. You can place each ninja by their emblem and Lloyd in the middle. Now Lloyd can hit the bell and the ninja can pull out, and it reveals the ninja's elemental blades that they can now use to fight the Stone Army. The Stone Army does not stand a chance against the ninja and their newfound weapons. But suddenly, General Kozu comes on the scene, and he is mad. The ninja now have to stick their elemental swords into the pillars and unleash the Golden Mech. This Golden Mech can take down General Kozu in one swing of his sword. This amazing Temple of Light set includes 7 minifigures. General Kozu, a stone warrior, Cole, Jay, Zane, Kai, and Lloyd, all in their kimono suits. Now it's your turn to build this adventure. Go to brick-legends.com or to the link in the description, and you can pick up your very own digital copy of these Temple of Light instructions and rebuild it yourself. And the best part is they're half off from now until this date right here, so pick them up while they're fresh. Now it's time for the ninja to take the battle to Ninjago City with the Overlord Dragon. But will Lloyd unlock his true potential? Well, I guess you'll have to stay tuned for our next video coming up in a couple weeks. Cannot wait to see you then. Peace out.
Subscribe.